And of course, I was muted for that new intro we tried to set up. We tried to set up that cold open and I completely destroyed it. Oh man, what a disappointment I am. Anyways, welcome everyone to the 10th PvP Live podcast. I'm your host, Jason McCaw, accompanied by PvP Live staff members Davis, Eldakar, and Aridin. Starting with you, Davis, how you doing today, buddy?
I am doing okay. I'm tired. I went to see Scotland play South Africa at rugby today. We
Yeah.
lost
Yeah.
hideously,
Did you have a good
but
time, though?
we had a good time.
Yeah.
Scotland always have a good time when they lose, so we've learned how to do it.
It's always a party in Scotland, right?
Yeah, party heaven basically because we lose quite a lot. But yeah, back to you guys.
Yeah.
How are the Americans? How are you Americans doing?
The Americans are doing really well. For some reason, the cams just messed up. Well, I go to Eldakar. Jeff, how are you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing great. I don't know that I'm doing as well as the King in the North here. I didn't get to go see any rugby matches, but I'm doing pretty good.
Excellent. Danny, going to you. If you could just keep up the conversation for a second while I try to fix Jeff's
Sure.
camera, that'd be great.
I'm doing pretty well today. How was the Ziggy Marley concert, JD?
The Ziggy Marley. It's not. It's not
That's pretty
Rastafarian.
Rastafarian, man. I don't know.
It's
I'm
not. Okay,
I'm
it's Ed
sensing
Hardy.
I'm
It's
sensing
full on
some reggae
swag.
concert. That's
No, just cold hard. This is cold hard swag. This is exactly what it is.
Cold
It's
hard
gold.
swag.
It's gold lined. It's just I call it my swag hoodie, and this is what I wear when nobody can see me. But today you all get to see me because
That-
it's too cold.
That's
and
his
this is my
royal
warmth
robes.
hoodie. Yeah, it's my royal robe. There
King
we
of
go.
Scotland with his royal robes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry about this, guys. I'm not sure this. Of course, this has to happen as soon as we start. The cams have to go off. Just give me one more second here. So basically, what I wanted to kind of talk about, Danny, if you want to start out talking about Friday Night Face-Off here while I get this set up, that'd be great.
Yeah, Friday night face-off. We had Bluckstack's team, which was YOLO Barton squad versus High Quality, which that was I'm freezing here. Help me out here.
Team High Quality.
Team High Quality, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Well,
Team high
I
quality.
mean, YOLO Barton took it 2-0, but they were really good matches. It was nice to see some Mistweaver Monk play. I don't really don't have
Windwalker Monk.
or Windwalker. I'm sorry. This whole show. Thank you. Good night.
That's it.
Okay, yes, the Friday Night Face-Off was amazing. We had Trilla Barton, Bluckstack, Flubber, and some pretty cool names, and then we had High Quality, which was Alicia, Calise,
It was Nori,
Cassie.
Casey, and Alize.
AC, Cassie.
Casey,
Yeah.
Alize. But yeah, it was
Yeah,
actually.
I'm sure
I'm sorry, I didn't even. I was trying to fix those cams. Sorry about that, guys. I kind of lost track of what we were talking about. But yeah, the Friday Night Face-Off. It was amazing this week. It was so good. The matches lasted really long, and besides that, what we had to do, I believe, Casey actually got disconnected in the second match, right? So we had to restart that. But overall, yeah, Yola Bartum picked up the 2-0 win.
Yeah, it was crazy. Crazy. We got so many viewers that day too. So
Oh
that
yeah,
was-
that was
great.
amazing. Yeah, we
That was great.
broke 1,000 viewers, which for us, I mean, obviously we're still growing, but that made me at least super excited. So that was that
Yeah,
was
I think we had a little bomb there, huh?
yeah, I believe Mystic sent over some of his stream members. So yeah, that's our first time breaking 1,000, I believe. So that was super exciting for us.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
And for the guys in chat, we kind of fumbled a little bit. Jason, the host, he's supposed to read off the names and all that stuff. So I wasn't prepared for that question. I wasn't prepared.
I'm sorry. If you have any, I think we named everyone though. Yeah, but it was on Team Yola Bartum. It was Bluckstack, Trill, and Flubba. So, but yeah, it was a really great matchup. But yeah, talking about Bluckstack and Bleach Bones, let's kind of jump right into BlizzCon, right? I mean, what an exciting time! And I know it's basically it doesn't even seem like it was a week away. But myself, Eldakar, and Aridin went with the PvP Live team to BlizzCon, and my main purpose of going was shooting a short documentary about the esports community and basically World of Warcraft PvP in general. But yeah, it was amazing, the people that we got to meet, the things we got to see, and we got to test out Heroes of the Storm and the betas. So I guess kind of just starting out, let's start talking about the arena tournaments, right? I mean, the arena tournament there, let's go through some of the major arena tournament matches, starting with our own. PvP Live's team with Novo, Thugonomics, and Danny Carey actually made it to the semifinals. Of course, we wanted to win it all, but we're super proud of our team. Kind of starting down with Aridin. Why don't we talk about just a little brief recap of what PvP Live's team did during the arena tournament?
Yeah, sure. So obviously it started on day one with the round robin bracket play. Their first match was against the Korean team LGIM, who was pretty favored to win. A lot of people actually had them on their list of possible teams that could win it. And they took them down. I believe it was a 3-0, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
Yeah, being there and seeing it, I mean, it's unbelievable. But then right after that, they faced Bleach Bones, which was Bluckstack, Swapsy, and Botar, and they defeated them 3-1. So, and I think that was the first series that didn't go 3-0 for the whole day, which is pretty cool. But I mean, they did a great job, honestly. Yeah. Two teams that were very good in their bracket back to back like that, and they came out on top, which pushed them to the semifinals. And then their first match there was against Minpoike's team, MIR, and they didn't do so well. They ended up taking a game, but there was some problems with their setup. If you asked them, they said they didn't play that well. Novos, I think I could quote him. He just said, "I played like shit." That's a quote. So
yeah, that was exactly straight out of his mouth.
Yeah. So they weren't really feeling too proud of their performance that day, but I mean they did well overall. It was a hard comp for them to face.
Aridin, why don't you go into and obviously we hung out with the team a lot. Why don't you just explain what happened with Thugonomics during that last match?
So basically this all starts Thursday night, actually. He arrived really late, actually, because he had some finals or something to finish up for school. So everybody was there like all day Thursday practicing, and he didn't even get in till the nighttime. And then when he got to set up, like there was some issues with his mouse driver, and tech guys were working on it. So they really had no time to practice the whole night before Friday. And then Friday comes around, there's still issues. They got a couple games in before they were ready to play, but basically he knew that he was going to be playing his warrior, at least for the first match. So he set up his warrior and made sure that was ready to go, which he played all throughout the day on Friday. Saturday comes around, and they only got, I don't think they practiced at all Saturday either, maybe one or two games. So he never really had the time to set up his warlock, which he ended up switching to after they went down 0-2. And so he comes out with the warlock, and his keybinds were messed up. His targeting macros, I think, specifically. So, yeah, just tech issues and not having the time to set up was really what hurt him there. But,
yeah, everyone was super confused when he ported back to the starting gates, and he was just standing there. And I'm guessing, kind of everyone realized there was some kind of problem, but no one actually had ideas to what it was. So, yeah, it's a shame it turned out that way.
People got angry. They're like, "What the F is he doing?"
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, but he was. Go ahead, Jeff.
It was a very unfortunate ending, but honestly, I thought they all played fantastic throughout the entire tournament. And one thing that I noted, and I mentioned this to Thug, was that he was completely unpeelable on his warrior.
Yeah.
Nobody could get away from him. I mean, these are the best players in the world.
Yep.
And nobody could get away from him.
Yeah, he was hot on their tails during every single match. It was pretty impressive. Something to note too. I'm guessing probably a lot of people don't know this, but Thugonomics is actually a nuclear engineering student. Who would have guessed with his online persona? But yeah, that's.
Did you not? If people don't know that, I found that out when he was like quite new to the scene. I thought that was like really cool. Like that kind of
it's
kind
crazy.
of blew my mind. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those guys as a whole, we got to hang out quite a bit with them, and great group of guys too. Kind of. Is there any other matches? Well, let's talk about actually the final skill cap match, right? I mean, I
Actually,
think we.
before that, I want to talk about the night before, Friday night, Bleach Bones versus LGIM.
Okay,
I think
yeah.
it was the last match of the day. So this was for the elimination bracket, and basically Bleach Bones goes up 2-0, and everybody starts leaving the arena. I guess not the arena, but the area that the games are being played, and they think like Bleach Bones has this in the bag. And then LGIM comes back and goes 3-0 to completely eliminate Bleach Bones from the tournament with like nobody there to see it. Like, I mean, like we took off with our team and we had some places to be, and like I guess everybody left. So like it was, from what I've heard, it was like the best series of the entire weekend that nobody even watched.
No one saw.
Yeah. Well,
But,
BlizzCon's an exhausting experience, and the games
Yeah.
run so late into the night.
Yeah. I mean, because you got to understand something. You're there pretty much. Well, at least I mean, most people are surely running around, but especially us, we're there running around the whole time trying to get interviews and stuff. And by the time it hits, 8 p.m. at night or even 7 p.m. at night, the whole convention center starts to kind of clear out a little bit. But yeah, it was. It's a shame that some of the people didn't stay for some of those later matches. Yeah, overall, let's talk about that last skill cap match, actually. Davis, I know you did an excellent job commentating the whole thing, doing live blogging. Let's talk a little bit about what you saw from skill cap in that final match.
Yeah, skill capped were like they were almost always ahead. Their cooldown usage is just I don't know, it's on another level. Like they perfectly cycle all their cooldowns, so like no one is out of a cooldown unless Zuniaki is on his warrior. Then they tend to stack cooldowns. I noticed that. But with Zuniaki on his priest, oh my god, I'm talking about the wrong team, aren't I? Oh my.
That's all right.
Skill capped the team with Soda, Talbadar, and Channels, who were the team that actually beat MIR. I started talking about MIR.
Sorry, you got it mixed up a little bit.
Yeah, but we got it. We're there. So yeah, so Skill Cap played really well. I mean, no one really came close to them. I would have really, really liked to see PvP Live versus them, because I think that would have been a really good game.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were kind of hoping for two North American teams to be in the actual finals, but unfortunately it didn't end up that way. Going down to Eldakar, I know you watched the final match. Do you have any a little bit of commentary or anything to say about that final skill cap game?
I felt like it went the way everybody was expecting it to, which I wanted skill cap to win, given that we couldn't see PvP Live win.
Right.
But I felt like it was way too clean of a sweep. There was not enough back and forth for my taste. I mean, I don't know if anybody saw the Dota 2 International. The final set there between Navi and Alliance went back and forth to a final fifth game, and it was close the entire time. That's the kind of thing I was hoping for, and that's really what I like to see in any kind of esport.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
well, I mean, and even like after Skill Cap had won, Soda was asked, what he thought of the game, and he kind of fired some shots and said it would have been better if they were closer matches. And a lot of people kind of the crowd fell silent and oohs and ahs, but like that's really the truth. I mean, Skill Cap to me made MIR look like they were just in such a lower league. It just they were never really in danger at all. I mean, it was too what's the word I'm looking for? It was just,
it appeared too easy for them.
Yeah, right, exactly. Like they weren't very entertaining matches because there was no really like back and forth. It was just skill capped every match the whole way.
Yeah. Something that kind of disappointed me too, and I didn't get to see it in person because I was over at the arena tournaments the whole time, but man, did you guys see the final matches from StarCraft 2? They had like fireworks, confetti.
I mean, they hold up the trophy and they kiss it. They're like,
yeah. I mean, it was like, that was.
There's like 1 million people like up taking pictures, and we're just like,
yeah. There's.
I walked over to that. And when I saw the confetti shooting off and I saw like the huge stage, and I was like, is this the same company putting both of these tournaments on? Where was the disconnect
Yeah.
here?
Where's our confetti?
Yeah, it was amazing actually, and kind of going into what we did at BlizzCon on the night before. Actually, I'm gonna rewind a little bit. I'm sorry, I'm getting kind of lost here. When we first arrived there on Thursday, we all went to like a Blizzard fan site meetup, which was hosted by Blizzard. So we had the CMs there, we had some devs there. Brian Holinka was there, Lore was there, Zaram was there, Ghostcrawler, a bunch of other people too. But it was really nice. We got to hang out with other community fan sites and kind of just mesh around and talk to the developers, kind of a get to know you type thing. But one of the coolest things was after that we got to go with the PvP Live team into the Anaheim Convention Center on Thursday night when basically no one was in there. So we went with Danny Carey, Thugonomics, and Novos on the basis that we were going to help them set up, which of course we didn't really help them set up. We watched them set up, but it was really cool to get that behind the scenes look at the convention center before people went in. And I got to be honest with you, I've never been in a convention center that size. I mean, that blew me away. It literally, I mean, Aridin, would you agree that the massiveness of that convention center was unreal, especially without people in it?
And this was my first BlizzCon that I was ever at, and I gotta say, like, going in there the night before is when it really hit me that we were there at BlizzCon.
Yeah.
I mean, the community meetup was awesome. I mean, it was really cool to be able to just kind of hang out, have a few drinks, and mingle with not only developers and CMs of this game we all play, but also streamers and writers and all these people from the community that we all really know from watching them. It was really cool to have that community, but then to go in there and see the setup and the cameras and everything that goes into making BlizzCon work. I mean, that's when it really hit me, and I was speechless, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's such a big production, and they do a really great job at it. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's one thing that really the reason why I got into this subject so quickly was I remember when we first entered the hall with the StarCraft 2 tournament set up, and I was like, I thought that was main stage, because I mean that was ridiculous. It was the whole size of like, I don't know, a third of the convention center basically was a StarCraft 2 stage, which is awesome because I'm all about esports, but it was overwhelmingly big. Eldakar, what were your thoughts when you first walked into that convention center? I mean, you've been there before though, too.
Yeah, this was my 5th BlizzCon, and the layout was very similar to the layout that I saw in 2010. So it wasn't a huge surprise to me. It was pretty much as I remembered it.
Right.
But I totally agree that they're filling out a huge convention center. And honestly, it's too small for them. I mean, every year, at least for like the last 5-6 years, the convention has sold out in seconds. And a lot of people that want to buy tickets, that are actively trying to buy tickets when they go on sale, can't, because there's simply not enough.
Yeah.
And I think it would be great to see them move to a larger venue, like something in Las Vegas or Los Angeles. But the question there is really, do they have enough content to fill out a venue like that and make space for all those additional fans?
Yeah. Yeah, something to note too on how you said they sell out so quickly. There were scalpers all over the place. Outside of the convention center. I mean, we ran into them. I was actually kind of shocked. I guess I wasn't even really thinking about that. But yeah, when that first guy walked up to us, and I was like, what? Scalping tickets for... I mean, I'm guessing you could probably make a pretty penny.
Right?
A pretty penny. But yeah, that was super cool going, behind the scenes without anyone there. And we actually got to... on Thursday night when they were still setting up everything, Brian Holinka actually took us on stage, on the tournament stage, and took pictures with us, which was super cool. I thought that was really neat next to the trophies and stuff, so that was quite a treat.
But we didn't touch the trophies, so you can't blame us for PvP Live losing.
That's true.
We didn't jinx it.
Yeah.
We didn't touch them.
You got to point that out. After that, on Friday, or what night was it? Oh, actually, no, right after that, we went to the WoW Insider Wowhead party, and I believe Olivia Grace is in chat right now. Thank you for having us. That was an amazing time. It was crazy to me, the line to get inside the WoW Insider Wowhead party. I mean, people were saying it was an hour and a half wait to get in. I believe it too. It was absolutely crazy packed. And it's something I said earlier in my video too. The only thing I didn't like about that party was that damn pool in the middle of the bar. That was like the most. The whole time I was having a blast, but the whole time I was walking around worried that I was gonna fall in that damn pool. I don't know about you guys, but like literally,
the pool was it was. I remember at one point we were standing there talking, and you had to stop me in the middle of my sentence, and you said, "Hey, we're edging closer and closer to this pool. Can we take a couple steps back?"
You literally.
Danny, I was assuming that was deliberate, that you were continually moving
No, well,
Jason closer to the pool
as
so you could push him in.
people are walking past you, you step out of their way, and you just get closer to the pool. Yeah,
that was literally like every 2 seconds I was being inched closer and closer to the pool's edge, and I'm like, "Come on, Danny, give me a break here." But yeah,
I was just trying to make the party happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Somebody had to go in that pool.
Yeah. It was really cool to see. I believe Game Breaker was there broadcasting live. It was really cool to see their setup and how they do that. So that was pretty neat. Eldakar, do you want to talk about the Wowhead party at all? The WoW Insider party?
Yeah, I thought the WoW Insider party was great, but like you said, having the pool in the middle is definitely a problem.
Yeah.
And I really feel like they need to have a larger venue for next time, because obviously they have a lot of passionate, dedicated fans that want to get in there and meet everybody. And they just can't because there's not enough space for them.
Yeah.
Guys, Olivia, WoW Insider, Wowhead, we love you. Thanks for having us at your party. But the venue,
big. I mean, that's a
great party, and I want to say thank you to Lisa Poiso. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, and Olivia, of course, for having us there.
Yeah. It sounds like a negative thing about the location. It's not. They had so many people there. They need to expand.
That's really it. It was just the amount of people.
Yeah. It was overall. It was super cool though. As far as like the last party that we went to, which was an awesome wrap up to BlizzCon, was the Twitch party, and man, that was a great way to kind of wrap up all of BlizzCon and just let loose. And I don't want to go into who was all there, but pretty much any top streamer that has anything to do with World of Warcraft or Blizzard in any means was there. I mean, it was pretty cool to. And I've said in my video that I released this week too, it was really cool to finally meet, and I'm the hugest Twitch fanboy. I spend most of my free time watching people's streams. So it was really cool to finally see these people that I've been watching for, a couple of years for some of them, and then, finally being able to meet them and actually interview them, which I also want to talk about fairly shortly. But yeah, the Twitch party, Aridin, why don't you... do you want to tell us a little bit about your experience at the Twitch party?
Well, from what I remember...
Oh, man.
it was a lot of fun. I mean, it was... I had a blast there, and I mean, there's really not much to be said other than what you already said. It was the perfect way to cap off the weekend. Yeah. And, I mean, just feeling like you're friends with all these people that you've only watched on screen is really cool.
Yeah, it was definitely. Eldakar, do you have anything to add about the Twitch party experience?
I thought the Twitch party was great.
Yeah.
And they really, really did a good job putting that thing together. And there were so many awesome people there. Like you said, pretty much everybody was there. So
they even had custom. I don't know if you guys can see this. I saved it actually. That's what a loser I am. They had custom made Twitch bands to get in. I mean, it was just and something I think we all stole too. Yeah, I think we all stole coasters from the Twitch party. But it was really well done. I mean, they pulled out all. I couldn't imagine how much money they spent on that. But also they make a ton of money too. So it's good to see that they're putting that back into the community. So that was really nice. But I think all of us were stealing Twitch coasters by the end of the night, and they actually gave us free shirts on the way out too, which was a nice surprise as well. But okay, so going past all the parties and everything, like I said earlier in the podcast, one of the main reasons why I was there was we were filming a documentary, and everyone helped, Eldakar and especially Aridin too. He was actually the interviewer while I was filming the whole thing, and some of the people we met, this is just kind of a short list, but some of the people that you're going to see in this short documentary, Bajira and Jenny, Hotted Cartoon, Venruki, Snuts, Soda Poppin', Alan and Victoria from Dexter BL, Chinglish, Kona Cool, SPG, Moojerk, and of course the senior PvP designer Brian Holinka, which was really cool to get to spend so much time with Brian. This is something we need to talk about on its own. Honestly, and I'm not being a fanboy right now, but I was amazed at how much time Holinka spent with us. Every time he saw us, he would go out of his way to come and talk to us. And what that shows me is that, Blizzard's kind of trying to put faith back into the PvP community and trying to get, tournaments going, which I think that's hopefully the basis of why we got to spend a lot of time with him. Going down to Aridin. Aridin, why don't you talk about some of the people that we met in Brian and everything?
I want to say just about Brian Holinka. I mean, I think one of the reasons why he did spend so much time talking to us, and not only just us. I mean, I saw him interacting with everybody, players, people from other streams and podcasts and everything. And what that really says to me is that he personally, not only just for the company, he personally cares for this PvP community. And he sees what we're trying to do. He acknowledges what everybody else is trying to do, and it means a lot to get that support from him because, this is what we're doing it for. We're doing it for the community, and to get that recognition is just awesome. So,
something else. It was so cool, to actually meet these people, or just to meet anyone that we met there, and them actually appreciating what we're doing here at PvP Live. That meant more than anything to me. Because we surprisingly, I don't know if you guys know, we put a lot of hard work into the stuff that we do, running a tournament every week, these podcasts, and then the blogs too. But it was so nice to actually hear that people view our stuff, read our blogs, watch a podcast. It was super nice. Eldakar, going down to you, do you want to talk about some of the people that you met there overall and the experience of meeting everyone?
Well, BlizzCon is always a great experience just for that reason, meeting everybody. And that's why I spent most of my personal convention time just walking around talking to people, because meeting the community there is really the best part of the convention, at least to me. And meeting Brian was fantastic. I mean, we met him on Thursday, I think, initially. And just hanging out, talking with the guy, he was such a down-to-earth, friendly person that clearly cared about the game and the community, like you said. And I mean, I was expecting him to be nice, especially after how much Olivia talked him up, but I was not prepared for how awesome that guy genuinely is.
Yeah. It was. I mean, even
I want to give a quick shout out real quick. Warcraft Jen in chat. That's Jenny. Bajira's Jenny. I don't know how else you would say that.
Thanks. Meeting Jen and Bajira and Swifty and Audit, that whole group, they were really, really nice as well. I mean, I remember when we were standing around at their fan meetup and watching Bajira and Swifty go over and hug a handicap kid, and I mean, I got a little choked up. It was so sweet to see that. I mean, they're such genuinely nice people, and it was really nice to see that.
Yeah.
One person, honestly, that surprised me the most, and I will say this, is Soda Poppin', Chance Morris. Everybody knows him. He's pretty infamous. I mean, he's got the biggest he's got the biggest World of Warcraft stream, but in person, he's actually a really nice kid, and he agreed to shoot an interview with us, and we actually had to stop because he got kind of swarmed and approached by a bunch of fans, and it's really cool to see him to give back to his fans. He asked us if we could wait so he can sign autographs and give hugs, and so a little, like, I don't know, couldn't have been older than 8-year-old boy came up and he gave him a big hug and lifted him up, and I mean, so just to see that, I mean,
what a role model.
I mean, he really appreciates his fans, and not that I thought he was a bad guy, but he's got a bit of a reputation on his stream, but to see him in person, he's a really, really cool guy.
Yeah, it was really cool too. Just seeing all these guys were signing autographs. I mean, pretty much everyone that we mentioned, especially at the Bajira, Jenny Hotted, Cartoons fan meetup. I mean, and you'll see it in the documentary that I'm going to be releasing. But it was amazing, the crowd that they had. I mean, it was it was a wave of people just screaming and going crazy, which is amazing. I mean, it's amazing to see that they're so supported by their fan base. It was really, really cool.
I actually found out that signing mouse pads is a real thing. I thought it was a joke.
It's not. It's not a joke.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
I have a question for you guys. Okay, who is the best handshake? Okay, like
Ooh.
who is the best handshake that you had? Like, I think Halinka looks like he could give a mean handshake.
I think he had a good one, and I could go into some people that had weak handshakes, but I would say the strongest handshake. It's probably going to be obvious. I think it was Bajira. I don't know. I feel like he had
yeah.
I think he had a
Man's
pretty
man's a
solid
beast.
one. Yeah. But anyways, but yeah, honestly, it was so cool meeting everyone, and I'm sorry if I missed anyone. We met Towley too, which we were trying to get an interview with, but the times didn't meet up. But yeah, Towley was a really cool guy. We saw him before the convention, and but yeah, that's I think that's pretty much most of the people that we met too. Oh, I got to meet Chinglish too, which I'm a huge fan of. So that was really cool. But yeah, as far as people go, I think does anyone Davis? I feel like you haven't said anything, but I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm
I
sorry.
wasn't there.
I know.
Like,
He wasn't there, man. He's
I know.
not in.
I just
The king
live
in Scotland
vlogged.
was ruining his kingdom.
Yeah.
I was ruling my kingdom and live vlogging the arena tournament, so I didn't really get to see any of the panels or any of the information, and I obviously didn't get to meet any of these people. I saw
Right.
Conan, which was cool.
Yeah.
Conan was cool.
Right. Yeah. Conan. Oh, go ahead, Danny or Davis.
Yeah, I really like Conan, so that was really cool for me to see. When they came on with Conan, I was like, you know what? I've got a long day ahead of me, but I can do it.
Yeah.
I can sit in front of my computer and just write about PvP all day.
Well, hey, Davis, thank
Uh-huh.
you. You did a
Yeah,
fantastic
you
job.
did an
Yeah,
excellent job.
you
And
really did.
We've told you all before, so don't
Pat yourself
don't
on
get,
the back.
Don't get so built up right now. But anyways,
I'd
yeah,
like
actually,
to thank.
I'd like to thank. No, on the Conan thing too, I want to bring up, which I'm guessing a lot of people don't know. Obviously, he was commentating with Hoodrich and Vihel. But also, what a lot of people don't know, which I think Conan is going to release as a webisode, which what's that series called? Clueless Gamer.
Clueless gamer.
Anyway,
yeah.
so Conan was actually behind the scenes with PvP Live, Novos, Danny Carey, and Thugonomics, and they actually filmed the whole segment of them doing yoga together or something. So I don't know if this is going to be released or not, but there
and
is
teaching, and they taught him how to play World of Warcraft.
and our team and the PvP Live team actually taught Conan, I believe, for like 10 or 15 minutes how to play WoW. So I'm hoping they release that footage. I don't know if they're
This
going
is
to.
the first
cool.
I've heard of the yoga part.
Yeah. Apparently, Conan asked Thugonomics, "How do you prepare for one of these large tournaments?" And Thugonomics said, "Yoga." So apparently, they all got down and did. I can't imagine. And not to mention, too, Thugonomics is a pretty tall dude. He's a
man.
tall guy.
I
right?
need to
is,
see
yeah.
this. I need to see this. This footage needs to be given to us at some point.
man.
Like,
I'll tell you what. I've actually searched all over and I haven't found it yet. But I'm hoping it's going to be on Clueless Gamer, which will probably be released within the next.
We'll
week
find
or
we'll
so.
find some way to put
I'm
it
sure it
on the
will be.
PvP Live homepage.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Moving on from that, though, I kind of want to talk about other stuff that we did at BlizzCon, and the first thing I want to talk about is we got a chance to play Here's to the Storm, the beta for it, and that was an amazing opportunity. I think that was the most excitement we had to play any of the betas while we were there. It was a really fun time, but I kind of want to go to a breakdown of some of the things that we noticed during this closed beta. Aridin, starting with you, we've talked a lot about some of, I don't want to say problems because it's such in its infant state, but
Yeah, of
some of the minor issues that we saw with the Blizzard's new MOBA.
I won't even say issues. I'll say like right away as soon as I sat down and got into the game, I've played League before and I've played Dota 2, and I never played the original Warcraft 3 Dota, but I was kind of expecting to get in and start laning and farming creeps for gold and stuff. None of that. You leave the gates and you're fighting the other team like instantly. So that was a little bit of a shock to me. But once I kind of got over that and realized that they're trying to put more focus on the sort of team fights, I started noticing certain things. Like there's really no need to farm because there's no like item builds. Like every so often you get a level and you get a talent, which I think a few of us discussed that they need to do a better job, I think, of alerting you when you get those talents, because I had to have people tap me on the shoulder a couple times and tell me to
Yep.
pick my talent. And then uh, knowing which creep you have selected, targeted, there's really no way to tell. So yeah, there's definitely some things that I think they could work on. But overall, I think it's cool, and I'm really excited to see where it's going. I think it's if they push it as an esport and it becomes, maybe as popular as League or Dota, it's really going to take away some of the I guess boring parts to watch, and it's really going to be just kind of action the whole game. So
Action packed, yeah.
but we only got to play one game type, which was kind of like your traditional 3-lane tower defense game.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I actually feel the same way that Aridin did. The biggest thing that I saw was the no notification of when you got an upgrade. And like Aridin said, I think someone tapped me on the shoulder like twice too and was like, you have to upgrade, or you have to get that ability. And there wasn't no kind of auditory announcement or anything like that. And maybe it's just me, but I think we all can agree that they need to have some kind of screen flash or something. And the other thing was that you mentioned too was there's no reason to farm mobs. There's no last hitting or anything like that. And Eldakar, I think you feel the same way, but why don't you explain a little bit about what you saw during the beta?
Yeah, well, first, I completely agree with you about the whole notification for when you have a skill point to choose. I had somebody tap me on the shoulder too, like 3 or 4 times that I needed to pick something down there, because you get so focused on the constant team battles, because that's really all there is in the game. Like you said, there's no farming, so it's just constant nonstop action, and that's a good thing. But I really missed the last hit mechanics, and I know I read Olivia's review of the game and she likes the removal, but I have to disagree. I think even without farming and having it be team-based, you can still have last hit mechanics to bring a little bit of skill back into it and increase the depth of the game. You just have last hits give a small EXP bonus to your entire team.
Right.
That way it's still a team activity. You can still do it. You don't have to make it a mandatory type thing. You can make it a really small amount, but just enough to give you something to do in the lane when there's no other heroes there. Some reason to have the creeps around, period. Other than just, kind of like an environmental effect that pushes the lane, basically, because that's really all it is without farm and last hits.
Right.
Why are they there?
Well, the only thing I saw that would actually, for me, be a reason to kill the creeps would be some of them are kind of like empowered. They like heal or provide small buffs or something. So it might be like a strategic advantage to kill them. But as far as like farming them for gold or XP or whatever, there really is none of that. So yeah, it's just kind of like a push the lane sort of thing.
Well, as it sits right now too, and I think this is how it is. I believe your whole team levels together, right?
Yeah, it's
There's
straight
no-
XP.
Everybody levels together.
Which is kind of interesting because you could have one person carrying the whole team, which I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing, but it is kind of an odd setup the way it is right now.
I think they did that to avoid feeding.
Right.
Like, we've all played games of League or I haven't played much Dota 2, but definitely with League, you got that one character that's just fed and can't be stopped, and I think the shared XP is to stop that, because those games aren't very fun. So
yeah, if you have one person on your team, particularly a support that doesn't really know what they're doing, that's just falling way behind, it gets impossible for them to catch up and really do anything useful in team battles, because they're so low level relative to everybody else, and they've got no farm, at least in games like Dota 2 and League. But I think that'll be less of an issue in Heart of the Heroes of the Storm because of
Heart
it.
of the Storm.
Why did they have to pick the same?
Yeah, isn't that
acronym?
weird? That's really weird.
That's my other beef with the game, but
Yeah.
I'll let that one go. But I think the overall game direction they're going with Heroes of the Storm is a good one, because there's so much competition in the genre. They really had to put their own spin on it, and basing it around these short, 10 to 15 minute games that are just nonstop action and really fun and has that Blizzard feel to it, I feel like was really the best way for them to go. And I'm personally really excited to see this game go into beta and get released.
Oh yeah.
Well, something that's worth noting, I think it's interesting that they're not calling it a MOBA. They're calling it, I think, a hero brawler, I believe was the term they used. So
Yeah.
I mean, just the I guess this genre of game they're making for themselves, it like says it all right there. I mean, it's about team fights and it's about hero versus hero. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes.
Going up to Davis. Davis, I know you didn't get a chance to play the beta yet, but I'm sure you've watched the trailers and everything. Do you have any thoughts on what you've seen so far?
I think it looks amazing, and I want to be Illidan right now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
I just want to play Illidan all day, and I don't care if he doesn't do anything good. I don't care if I'm not good at him. I will play him and be happy.
yeah. I think we're all super excited for it to jump into open beta, and I'm hoping we'll get a chance at the early open beta ourselves, just to give our first impressions of it. So yeah, I was super excited overall with the whole beta of it. Kind of moving on. So obviously Warlords of Draenor is the newest expansion coming out every year, and Blizzard has recently announced that they're going to continue to try to release, or it might be definite, I don't know. They're going to continue to release expansions once a year, which is great for us. Obviously, it's great for anyone.
They want to try at least.
Excuse
That's
me.
the goal.
Yeah, they want to try to release a new expansion every year, which is amazing news. Really, it's it's just showing that with some of the sub numbers down, that Blizzard is still putting their faith behind this franchise, which is absolutely amazing to hear. But kind of jumping right into some of the things that we heard, and I think something that excited everyone, especially during the opening ceremony, was the garrisons. And I think it's it's kind of Blizzard's version of in-game housing almost per se, but it's somewhat instanced. Eldakar, I know you brought up some great points about how you want to attack garrisons and you want a PvP element added into it, and I agree with you. I think that'd be amazing. Why don't you explain a little bit about that?
I just want PvP in everything. Anything that can conceivably have PvP in the
Put it
game
in there.
should have PvP in the game. Even, if there was some way we could get PvP into raids, I'd be all for that. I think that would be sweet.
You have to
TOGC,
fight on
man.
another.
TOGC.
Garrisons
to,
just
like-
seem like a natural place for PvP. I'm sorry, JD. What were you saying?
It's okay. No, it's okay.
Anyways, garrisons just feel like such a natural place for PvP. And when they announced the name garrisons,
Right.
before they got into the details, I was like, yes, I get to attack people's shit and fuck it up.
Right.
But that apparently is not going to be the case, at least initially. But if you're going to have a castle, you should be able to attack it.
Right.
I mean, otherwise, why not just have it be a little farm like what we already had? I mean, obviously, they're putting lots of other features and stuff into this, but if you're going to have walls and battlements, you need to be able to siege them and attack them.
And ways to upgrade
So
them,
I
too.
hope that's coming.
Right. Yeah,
Maybe it's in the pipeline. Who knows? They
That's
just,
what, yeah. I guess obviously like we all know too. they can't announce everything at BlizzCon because there's no excitement to build upon. So I
Right.
wouldn't be surprised, Jeff, if they have some kind of PvP element, because that certainly would make the most sense to see that. Aridin, going to you. What did you think about the whole garrison in-game housing type setup? You're not that excited.
I mean, it's cool. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's not really my sort of thing though. Just kind of like the farm. I never did the farm, but who knows? Maybe if it's fun and there's kind of like cool things to do with it, I'll check it out. But typically, I don't know. We'll just have to see.
Yeah.
Like, the news of it is not that exciting to me. But
Yeah, it's pretty much mostly a PvE element at the moment. Davis, obviously you heard about it as well. What are your thoughts on garrisons in game and Warlords of Draenor?
I'm completely with Jeff. I think we should be able to attack them. But at the same time, like, I'm kind of worried about how it would do it. Like, can someone just walk up with a sword and stand there for 2 hours at like
Just
one
beat on it?
corner and just beat at it, and then eventually everything falls over, and you're like, oh, guys, where did the guild bank go?
maybe you have
Stuff
to
like
declare war. That'd be cool.
Well,
Yeah.
you could have buildings that allow you to create attack forces to attack other people and siege vehicles and stuff like that. And you could have other buildings that are specifically defensive, like you could build an archer tower and shit like that, like a tower defense game, basically.
Right. Yeah.
So basically, you want a lot of other games in WoW. Is basically.
Yeah.
He wants Warcraft 3 in
WoW. Right.
Yes, exactly.
Right. That's actually something we're
Fair
going to be
enough.
bringing up a little bit later about procedural content, but not at the moment. So yeah, I mean, me personally, I think it's a nice addition. Like everyone else has said, we have to see where it's going to go. But I got to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if there is some kind of PvP element announced in the, I wouldn't say near future, but closer to the release of Draenor. Next thing I kind of want to talk about was the new character models. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see all races, with the new character models. But me personally, and I'm sure Tobias is going to listen to this tomorrow, and he's going to hate on me. I could care less about gnomes, but the new orc models look awesome. I mean, just the running animations, the in-game the emote animations looked really great. Eldakar, what did you think about those?
I'm kind of with you. The character models really don't make a huge difference to me. I mean, it's a nice to have thing, and I understand they needed to do it eventually because so many people wanted them.
They're
But
outdated, yeah.
I mean, for the most part, I'm not really looking at my character. I am focusing on the gameplay and the systems and everything else in the world. My character is really
You're mainly
something
looking
I
at the
look
back.
at infrequently.
Yeah, the back of
I'm
him,
looking
right.
at his cloak the entire time.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it'll be cool to see other people's characters, looking better. But
I really
in
wish
the grand scheme of things, I don't think it's a huge deal.
I wish they would have shown updated human male models, because in my opinion, those are the absolute pits. I mean, those are. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I think everyone can agree. The human male faces are absurd looking. I mean, they need a huge. Out of any race, they need the biggest update. I would say. Aaron, going down to you. I'm guessing you probably don't care as much either about the character models. But
Well,
what
I
are your
mean,
thoughts?
this is something I brought up in a past podcast, I believe. It's cool to see. It's nice to see, and I was kind of hoping my orc would stand straight more, get rid of the hunch. But at the end of the day, I think it's something that's gonna fade fast, and it's just gonna be what it is. They don't really affect gameplay that much for me, and like Jeff said, I'm never really focused on my character. I'm looking at everything else around it. So, I mean, on the character selection screen, it'll look nice, I think.
Davis, going up to you. What do you think about the new character models?
Yeah, I mean, much the same as the other guys, but I think I'm a bit more excited than you guys. Like, I'm like, whoa, like, how cool is everything gonna look? And
I'm
stuff
a
like
little
that.
excited. I'm not gonna lie.
And yeah, like, I'm excited about it, and I want to see.
Actually, one thing I'm really excited for that they didn't really show, but I saw like slides of it later on. It wasn't playable, but the undead male model. If anybody saw that,
I don't
one.
think I saw it even. No.
didn't
I
see that.
saw it. I've seen it.
Yeah, they had a slide of it for like the art panel, but
Yeah.
it wasn't like playable or anything. But that one looks really good.
Ooh.
I'm excited. I'm excited for the undead model.
Dang. Yeah, if someone has that in chat, shoot us a link. I'd actually like to see that. I don't know how I missed it. That sounds.
Terran. If Terran is here, Terran, can you send me it again?
Okay, so moving on. Before we get to Trial of the Gladiator changes in 6.0, let's talk about
Talk of the town.
Yeah, let's talk about no flying mounts until 6.1. And I recently did a video this week about it on my thoughts, and people there's a lot of upset in the community right now, and my personal opinion, I don't understand why. And it's it's just going to bring a little bit more sense of exploration and hopefully some decent world PvP, right? I mean, it's maybe going to bring that element of vanilla back into WoW as far as the PvP community and world battles. Going down to Airden, what are your thoughts on no flying until 6.1?
Well, the first thing I want to say is I think people are way overreacting to this way too much. I mean, 6.1 isn't a good indication of time. I mean, maybe they have it slated for 1 month after launch. We don't know.
It probably is.
Yeah, I mean, people are acting like 6.1 means we're not going to have flying till the next X Pack or something.
Right.
So, it's not a good indication of how long we're going to go without it. But this is a conversation I've had with many people. I miss the feeling of running around places, exploring, feeling like you're in this dangerous world, and you don't know what's around the next turn. When you could just fly over everything, it kind of trivializes it and makes it, I don't know, just it gets boring really fast, I guess. So I'm open to it. I think no flying is a welcome change. I wouldn't even mind if they took flying out of the game completely, to be honest.
Wow. Oh, I'm going to disagree strongly with you on that
I
one.
mean, there's flight pass, there's
Yeah.
flight pass, there's mage
Yeah.
portals, there's many
Sure.
different ways to get places quickly.
Yeah.
But flying just it ruins that immersion. I mean, this is an RPG we're playing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I definitely agree with you in one point that people probably got spoiled with, being able to fly wherever they want at any given moment. But yeah, I think that would be a tough one. You said, you wouldn't you wouldn't care if it was there at all. I don't know. That's a tough one for me. Davis, going over to you. What do you think about no flying until 6.1?
I think it will be fun at first. Maybe a little less fun
Later on.
after a while.
Yeah.
But then 5.1 comes and we can fly again. So yeah, I mean, it seems like a good idea to me because I agree that there's part of me that kind of wishes flying mounts had never even come into the game and it had never been thought of as part of the game, so the world wasn't built so that flying could be a part of it, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So I mean I kind of want that back, but it should be interesting to see, and we'll get to see all the pretty landscapes they make for us.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
can't wait. But it'll be good, yeah.
Eldar, what do you think about no flying in the beginning of Draenor?
Well, I completely agree with the majority of what Davis and Aridin said. I feel like the world is a much more engaging place when you're actually on the ground. You don't know what's around the next curve, especially with the dynamic elements that they're getting ready to introduce into the game. And, you really don't know what's going to be around the next curve. It could be some world event that's a rare spawn. It could be a rare spawn itself. It could be a bunch of people fighting in a PvP battle that are going to try to gank you, and you've got to fight back with them. You could bring your friends to try to get through an area that you need to get into to get to do a raid. I mean, there's so many more possibilities that open up when you're living in this dangerous world instead of just casually hovering above it.
Right.
And I feel like flying mounts really gutted a lot of the sense of danger and adventure from the game, and I am really, really excited to see what the game is going to be like without them for a long period of time in progression content. Honestly, I would love to see them completely removed from all current content for the remaining life of the game and only have them be accessible in past content. So
Wow.
when we're in Warlords of Draenor, you can only access them in stuff prior to that. That would be my ideal solution to, this whole issue. But I know there's so many people that passionately disagree with me and just want their flying mounts all the time. They want them right now.
Right. Yeah, well, I guess I didn't realize you guys felt so strongly about flying mounts. I think I'm gonna have to maybe rethink my thought process. I don't know. I guess I never really thought about it because I've become so used to it. It's as I'm sure
everybody
everyone else
has.
Yeah,
everybody
right.
has, and in a way, I feel flying mounts spoiled a lot of people. Like you no longer have to work for things. As trivial as it sounds to run somewhere on a mount.
Back in my day.
Back in my day. Yeah. Back in my day.
I don't know.
That's overall though, as far as Danny, kind of like you said, is no one has any idea when 6.1's coming out, and it's probably going to be like you said, it's probably like a month, maybe a month and a half or something after Warlords of Draenor is released. It's not going to be 5 months, 6 months down the road. So
the thing is, we don't know.
We don't know. So yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But I thought that's something something we kind of had to bring up. Kind of our final topic, and probably one of our biggest for today, is Trial of the Gladiator. They've announced a bunch of stuff, but I want to point out as well, Holinka mentioned earlier this week that we don't know everything that's going on with it yet, of course. And they are going to be announcing that shortly, so it's going to be interesting to see what they actually announce. But right now, we know a couple things. First of all, there's going to be time restraints of when you can actually play rated games, which is super interesting. And they're doing it for many different reasons that we can discuss. And also, one of the other major things is everyone's going to have baseline gear while they're in Trial of the Gladiator. So everyone's going to be on an even playing field. The only thing that's going to distinguish yourself is your play skill, your style, and that's it. Going down, starting with Eldikar here. What are your thoughts overall? Starting maybe about the time restraints first. What are your thoughts on those?
Yeah, my very first concern, as soon as I mentioned this, and I know it's a concern shared by a lot of people, is what if you're on an unusual schedule and you can't get in there? It's really going to come down to the details of the implementation, how big the windows are, what the diversity of them is, if they stay static or if they're dynamic and they change from day to day or week to week. The devil's really going to be in the details with a system like that. I mean, overall, I like the concept and I like what they're trying to do to really focus the competition and get everybody queuing at the same time and basically have like mini arena tournaments in all of these little time spaces. And I think it can be really cool, but it definitely has some potential pitfalls. And that's why they announced it early. I mean, that's what Brian Halinka has said on many, many occasions, that they announced it here at BlizzCon and they announced it so early because they want people's feedback. So if you're listening to this and you have feedback about it, please go to the forums and leave that feedback and try to be as constructive as you can. The game can only improve if we give good feedback and give them good ideas. So just saying, I don't like XYZ is not really as valuable as saying, I don't like XYZ. Here's what I think would be cooler if you did this instead.
Right.
So
yeah, I mean, of course, the reasoning that they've given so far is why they're doing the time restraints is to combat cheating in win trading. And
well, that's one of the reasons.
Well, that's one of the reasons. So it's good, like you said, any kind of feedback that could possibly help Blizzard in that fact, please go to the forums. Going over to Davis, just starting with talking about the time restraints that they've implemented. What's your thought process on that right now?
I mean, yeah, I have the same ways as everyone else. Like, what if you can't make a few days, or what if you can't make a week or whatever? Like, what's the repercussions and things like that? But apart from that, I'm excited about it, but at the same time, I hope they're quite often. Like, do you think they'll be daily, or have they definitely said they won't be daily?
I don't think they've said yet.
I don't think anything's definite at this point.
They haven't released those details.
No, I mean, the way that I pictured it was going to be one time per day, but I could be completely wrong. That's kind of what I gathered from the original presentation. Airden, going down to you, what are your thoughts on the time restraints aspect of Trial of the Gladiator?
I think we definitely need a lot more details for one. But I think people that work like second or third shift or have a kind of different play schedule than most people, they're going to be affected by it. Like Australians that play on U.S. servers obviously are going to be affected by it. I'm not sure what's going on totally in EU, but I guess Russia plays on a kind of a different time, right?
I'm not really sure, personally.
Davis? Russia's like a different time or something. But
I mean,
so
yeah.
people that play on these weird time schedules, it's going to affect them, and it's really not that fair to say like if you care about it, you'll be there, because we all have lives. But I think the idea behind it, like what they want to do with it, is a good idea. They want to force more competition into one area and combat the exploitation, which is cool. I just think it just needs some work, some fine tuning.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like I said, I'm guessing, hopefully, Holik is going to be releasing some kind of information in the next 2 weeks of maybe giving us a little bit more details of what that all entails. Going back to Eldikar, too, what do you think about them implementing just baseline gear for everyone, making the skill actually really matter and not the gear?
I think, it's a really good concept as far as making it a level playing field and really making sure that games are decided by skill more than anything else. But at the same time, gear and, working to gear up your character and working to improve your character is really one of, if not the most core philosophies of any RPG game. So given that Arena has historically been the high end for PvP, it's going to be interesting to see what effect this has on the metagame. I mean, are people just going to log in, stay in their city in their greens, never do anything but this effectively mini arena tournament, Trial of the Gladiator? Or is there still going to be a motivation to go into regular arenas and rated BGs and get that gear? And I feel like the answer to that is going to have huge implications for how PvP plays as a game within the game going forward.
I think that's personally, for me at least, that's one of the biggest question is what is going to actually happen to regular arena or RBGs or even random battlegrounds for that matter. I mean, are people actually going to gear themselves to play in random battlegrounds when you can just jump into a Trial of the Gladiator game? I'm guessing they would, but that's a great question. Aaron, what do you think about, baseline gear going forward?
I share pretty much the same concern. I mean, what incentive do we have to go get gear by other means if all the gear we want is right there available in Trial of the Gladiator? I mean, I can literally walk around the entire expansion in quest gear and be perfectly fine. I mean, I feel like we need incentive to actually do other things to get gear, and not to mention the current PvP gear system I find completely and utterly boring. I mean, you do arena matches or RBG matches and you get gear. You just buy it. That's it. This is going to get a lot of hate, I think. Chat might not like me after this, but I miss raiding for the best gear because it was something extra to do. I felt like I was actively making my character stronger instead of just getting gear for playing. It was that I guess that RPG element of making your character more powerful. So, I mean, I miss that. I think gearing is really boring, and I think it's going to be really boring in Trial of the Gladiator too. So. Yeah,
I really, just like you said, they're going to have to add some kind of incentive to actually gear your character in the the outside of the Trial of the Gladiator. Davis, going to you. What do you think about them adding baseline gear for everyone and just having everything based on skill?
I mean, so I said this earlier when we kind of briefly spoke about it, and I think it's like it's kind of like challenge modes are like the Gladiator tier of PvE, and in that, like, the eye level is so low that essentially you get the gear sort of for free. But you need to do a little work to get it, and you can get more gem slots and stuff. But anyway, so I think it's okay. Like, I'm not that worried about it, and I think there will, like, I would imagine there'll be some sort of like conquest cap you have to reach until you can queue for Trial of the Gladiator or something. I mean, maybe I'll be wrong about that, but that's what I think.
Yeah.
But I do miss. PvE had so many fun items, if you know what I mean. So trinkets have kind of interesting procs and things like that, whereas PvP items are just solid, like they do that and that and that, which is all
standard,
very good.
Right.
But I would like to see maybe a bit more variety in what you can get for a PvP trinket, if you know what I mean. Like, not necessarily a PvE trinket, but you can just a bit more choice about what the proc is, or
just maybe add a couple new choices for each class. Yeah, I agree. That would be interesting. I mean, obviously,
I think what I'm trying to say is this. Now, for the people in chat disagreeing with me, I mean, that's all right, but I don't necessarily say like the legendaries and the overpowered trinkets and stuff is what was cool. Like, obviously those are kind of like game breaking things. What I miss is kind of like having a goal. Like, this is the best item and it's random. Am I gonna get it? Am I not? Like, there needs to be some kind of like random system to getting your gear. Like, like, if I didn't know I was gonna get a piece of gear every week, it would be kind of cool. Like, just knowing that if I do X amount of matches, I'll be able to get this piece is just really boring to me. I mean, just my opinion. So, and that's why I like the PvE aspect of it, because to get the best gear, you're doing something extra, and it's random whether you're going to get it or not. So that's why I liked it.
Yeah, it's unfortunately, I wish we knew more, and like I said, hopefully within the next week or two, the dev team at Blizzard is going to release a bit more info. So I'm guessing we're going to have a bunch more in the coming weeks to talk about Trial of the Gladiator as we hear more news. Did you guys want to say anything else about that? Or
I want to touch on something that JE mentioned. If they made it so that you had to qualify for Trial of the Gladiator through regular arena, like let's say you have to hit 2K rating, because they did mention on a few occasions that Trial of the Gladiator is really the goal for the elite PvPers to compete in, and not necessarily for everybody. It's not supposed to replace regular arena. So if they had a requirement that you had to hit some rating to qualify for it, I feel like that would give people motivation to still participate in regular arena, to still gear up their characters to at least try to hit that watermark where they need to get to qualify for Trial of the Gladiator. And that kind of combined system where you still need to gear, but it doesn't necessarily affect things at the very, very upper echelon level.
Yeah.
I feel like that would open up a lot more possibilities to them in terms of gearing, because right now they can't add too much randomness to the system, because if you got screwed on RNG, like let's say you're doing Battlegrounds and you only had a chance to get some random item and you just kept getting screwed over and over, you would fall really far behind and you wouldn't be able to catch up in the ratings. But as long as the very top competition is insulated from that by the free gear and Trial of the Gladiator, I think that they should just go nuts and make it as fun as they can to gear up in PvP.
Yeah, I mean that's an excellent point. Like I said, it's just unfortunately I wish we had a bit more information, some more details about the time restraints and all the baseline gear. But hopefully in the next couple weeks we'll have a bunch more information. Before we wrap up this podcast, I want to, for the crazy people out there that love doing Black Friday stuff, right? If you love going to a GameStop at 8 o'clock the night before and hanging out in line, to get in line, they actually have an amazing deal though. They have WoW 60-day game cards for $5 on Black Friday at GameStop, and I'm guessing it's only in store. But I mean, that's a huge. If you guys are willing to stand in that line, that's a heck of a deal. I mean, that's a huge, deep discount. So I just, Aridin, are you planning on standing outside GameStop on Black Friday for that?
Absolutely not.
No, me neither. Me neither. But
I want to answer.
Come
a
on.
question. I want to answer a question real quick here in chat directly at me.
Go ahead.
BlizzCon, I'm not sure how you say your name. He says, "May I ask, are you like 70% PvE and 30% PvP?" No, sir. I'm 100% a WoW player. I like the game. That's it.
Oh. That was a great answer. I mean, yeah, for sure.
I mean, to me, I enjoy PvP. It's my favorite part of the game, but I just like WoW. I mean, anything that's fun to do in WoW, I want to do it. So that's what I do.
I think that's how a lot of us at PvP Live feel, especially myself, Aaron, and I couldn't agree more. I mean, I love pretty much every aspect. I enjoy it all, but yeah, I mean, with a focus on PvP for sure. So
yeah,
but
I'd love to raid right now, but I have no incentive to do it because there's no gear I could use in PvP. I mean, I don't know. It's give and take. I just like playing WoW. That's it.
Yeah.
So
it's hard to balance, especially with 2 new kittens, right, Aaron?
Yeah, 2 new kittens.
Yeah,
I'm surprised they're actually not up.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I thought like you were gonna at least like hold. Literally, no joke. Last night, Aridin purchased. I don't even know. Adopted 2 new kittens. I thought they'd be like crawling on your shoulders like a scarf or something. But I'm actually kind of disappointed, to be honest.
Maybe next time.
Okay.
Next time.
Yeah, I want one just like
We're
sitting
still
on your head.
giving one away, right?
Oh yeah, actually.
Oh no! Wife
Wait,
will
I
kill
thought that
me.
was one of the giveaways today.
Yeah. No, we're doing a giveaway. So everyone, 1, 2, 3 in chat.
Yeah, just type in 1, 2, 3 in chat, and you
we're
win.
not giving away my cats.
We
man.
will mail you one of Aridin's new kittens. Anyways, guys, thank you everyone for watching this podcast. We're going to do kind of last minute shout outs here, starting with Davis. Anything you want to say before we wrap this up?
No, nothing at all.
Okay.
Shout out to everyone in the chat though. Thank you for joining us, and thank you to everyone who has spoken to me this week and influenced me in a positive manner.
Wow. Okay. That kind of uplifted myself. Eldakar, going to you. Any last minute shout outs to anyone?
I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat as well, particularly Jen and Olivia, and Biz Cozy, who has been so active here. And a shout out to everybody that I met at BlizzCon. I'm way too many people to name, but It was a pleasure meeting everybody.
Yeah. Actually, before I go over to Danny, I'm going to give a shout out to Tainted Beast. He was one of my original stream followers when I used to stream like 8 months ago. He was always there. He's one of my mods. Aridin, going over to you. Any last minute shout outs?
I'm gonna follow in Jeff's footsteps and say shout out to everybody that we got to meet and interact with at BlizzCon, whether you're a streamer, a player, or a pro, a fan, anybody that came up and met us. Thank you. Shout out to you. Thank you to Jen and Olivia for being in chat, and thank you to all of chat. Really interesting conversations, and the questions are cool. I want to answer more questions.
Yeah.
You guys got to get on that.
Yeah, we'll do a Q&A for you one of these days. But yeah,
well, not just me. I mean,
no,
I know. I think
I
the
know.
chat as a show.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah. We'll try to work on some kind of organization of a Q&A system. Again, just like Danny said, thank you everyone for joining in on this.
Oh, and shout out to the Scottish rugby team.
Why? Why? They lost. We lost 28-0. What was the point?
That's all right. Everyone bow to the King of Scotland. If you guys actually want to contact Davis, his email is kingofscotland@gmail.com.
This isn't true. Nobody email that because it could be the real King of Scotland.
Oh my God, it could be. Actually, Davis, you better go register that right now before I keep on telling people. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this podcast. Thank you to all the viewers. Thank you to everyone that we met at BlizzCon. It was an amazing experience. And until next Sunday, please go to pvp-live.com, bookmark the site, follow us all on Twitter, and follow us here on Twitch. Thanks, guys.